Hi. If you're someone who gets excited about going up north in winter and climbing up a snowy mountain, or getting lost in a misty pine tree forest, climbing all the way up to the edge of a volcanic crater lake, looking down at its icy surface that reflects the sky above, or at the end of the day, shedding all your clothes and sitting down in a geothermal spa at minus 30 degrees of outdoor temperature, watching the sweat from your hair crystallize into small jewels of ice. If this is you, then the Changbai Mountain is the one place to go in China. Changbai Mountain, also called the Paektu Mountain by the Korean people, is an active volcano on the border between China and North Korea. At its top lies a crater lake called Tianshi, meaning Heaven Lake, at an altitude of 6,000 feet above the sea level. It is also the deepest lake in all of China. Now, I just returned from a trip there with my girlfriend. Before I tell you more about it, let's roll the intro first. Bella, how do you feel?
I'm so excited and terrified. I hope I have the place to change my clothes.
The very first thing we did after getting off the plane was to get our down coats and snow boots out from the luggage. The northern provinces are known for their frigid winters, and we absolutely don't want to be caught unprepared. There are no licensed taxis in this remote area, but you can always find local drivers who do airport pickups. The car drove for about 40 minutes through wilderness and forests where our phones were completely without a signal. But eventually we got to a town called Baihe, named after a river that flows all the way down from the Heaven Lake. Hotels are cheap here and the inside is rather decent. So, with the luggage left behind in the room, it's time to get out and explore the town for a bit.
My cheeks are hurting. I feel like the coldness is cutting my face. My nose are turning to numb. I can't feel it.
Now, one thing to remember when planning your winter trip to Changbai Mountain is that the day ends early. By 3 in the afternoon it's already getting dark, and by 4 the sun is set. If you're still in the mountains somehow by this time, then all the tourist spots will close up very quickly and your transportation back to town will get a lot more difficult to find. So, in order to make the best of your stay here, always start the day early. In our case though, since the flight here and everything else was already the better part of the day, we're actually pretty satisfied to just stay in town and see what it had to offer. The town looks like a rather lovely place at night. Overhead lights, specialty shops, restaurants. You can tell that nightlife isn't boring here. There's only one thing though. You don't want to stay in the street for too long. It's too cold. Whatever you do, don't make the same mistake we did. At first you might be thinking, well, it's still early, why not just walk around and see? Then soon enough you realize it's too cold for you and you just want to get inside and get something warm to eat. And then you're searching desperately on your phone for a place, but then suddenly your phone is dead, because the cold will be able to kill your iPhone battery. It's actually so cold that grocery stores put the ice creams they're gonna sell on the ground outside, and since this is a mountainous terrain, going uphill and downhill is a bit risky due to the icy ground. But in the end you will feel it's all worth it. Because here at Baihe town we're only 30 miles away from the border with North Korea, and the ethnic Korean population isn't small here. So needless to say, in China, when it comes to Korean food, you can't really get more authentic than here. The dish we had is called pork belly rice wrap. So basically you take a slice of pork belly and some rice and wrap them around in a leaf of perilla or cabbage or tofu or seaweed, together with a range of ingredients and sauces that you can choose from. The DIY part is what really makes it fun.
这是米酒。
哇，谢谢。
谢谢。
没事。
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. This one is called 苏子叶 and it tastes like mint. First you take
Rice.
a little, yeah. And then,
Spread it even.
yeah, and then take one piece of pork. I will just take a big egg piece.
Egg sauce.
You see, they have scrambled egg inside and maybe some juice, some traditional juice. And you can also see some soybean here. And then take one slice of garlic and one slice of green pepper. And then
Roll it all together.
beautifully.
Yeah. This one is for me as well.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
And then stuff into your boyfriend's mouth. Cheers!
And that was day one. We got up at 6 the next morning and hopped onto a car for the best spot to watch sunrise over pine trees surrounded in vapor from a geothermal river.
After that, we took a 40-minute ride to the northern gate of the mountain. From here on, you'll not be able to drive your own car any farther. The forest all the way up is fenced in because we are about to enter a natural reserve. But we're still 15 miles from the real foot of the mountain, so we got on a shuttle bus instead.
Our bus sped through a snow-covered forest for another half an hour, and with each turn of the road, the tip of the mountain gets closer within view. At the foot of the mountain, just before the last section of the road goes circling up, we switched to an SUV.
Alright guys, right now we are on top of the Changbai Mountain, and all the way up to the top we have gone through some winding roads and sharp turns, and the sun is reflecting off the snow. It's very bright, very glaring. You see, we are wearing sunglasses that can protect us also from the heavy wind. The wind is blowing so heavy. We are wearing covers for our legs. We are wearing very heavy clothes and thermal pads to warm up our body. So I think that's it. We are gonna go to the last part of our journey, and we are just gonna see what the frozen lake on top of the Changbai Mountain is like.
挑战成功，还
We've
活
done
着
it. We've done it.
I'm
We've
still
survived.
breathing. darling, 我要过一口罩。So this is our lunch. If you open it, we buy it in supermarket yesterday, and it's only 15 yuan. It's not expensive. So it constitutes one cooked dish, one cooked rice, and one spoon, water. If you put this one and water in together, they will leash out a huge amount of heat. So that's how they heat the dish and the rice. Once it gets started, you can wait 15 to 20 minutes and then it will get hot.
After lunch, we got in another SUV and came down from the top to a pond called Luyuantan, halfway up the mountain. The surface had already frozen over, but water underneath was kept warm by geothermal heat. And from here we began climbing up again on foot along the bank of the frozen riverbed created by the famous Changbai waterfall, which goes directly down from a dent in the huge basin that is the Heaven Lake.
Right now we are on our way to a waterfall. I can't believe a waterfall can still be running in winter. But we are climbing the stairs, 1,000 stairs in total. And on the right you see people right all the way up. It's really cool, but we decided we'll take the walk.
On the way up, on a flatter part of the riverbed, we saw these steaming hot spring pools of smaller or larger sizes. In fact, a special food you can have here is called hot spring boiled eggs. The hottest of the springs are only around 80 degrees Celsius, so the eggs that comes out are fresh and have that fluid, jelly-like feel in the mouth.
So spring cooked egg is only normal egg cooked by spring.
83 degrees of water. You can also cook at home.
With only 83 degrees of water you can get the same effect, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah, no need to come here at all.
So this is as close as we can get to the waterfall, and it's getting dark pretty fast. But before we go, let me do something I've never done before in my life.
We had a very cool day, so what is the way to make it even cooler? I have got the answer. And it's really sweet. The flavor is like fresh yogurt, fresh milk. What do you feel?
Cheese? Something like cheese?
Cheese, yes. Fresh flavor, very sweet. And it's not too cold, right? You would expect it would freeze your teeth off, but
Yeah.
no, it's very good.
You know why? Because they just put it outside. They don't need to put it into the fridge.
Yeah, usually you just lay it on the ground and it won't melt.
We got down to the northern mountain gate at around 5. By that time the day was completely dark. In the end, we did not get the time to see everything the North Slope had to offer. If the day was still early, the shuttle bus would actually take us down to a pond called the Minor Heaven Lake, and then further down to the underground forest. But I suppose both these places are better visited in summer, when there'll be a lot more greens and you can actually take a rubber boat down the torrents and have so much fun. But the winter Changbai Mountain is also a sight not to miss. The snow without end, the howling wind. And there's another thing that makes a winter trip here totally worth it. This is the volcano hot spring tribe, the best place to go for a spa in the entire region. Its location is just outside the northern mountain gate, and the water that fills these pools are from the same source as the hot springs we saw up there in the mountain. The facilities here are world class, but what really sets this place apart is the creativity that goes into designing the spa experience. There are so many different kinds of pools that when you walk inside, you're literally like a kid in a toy shop. There is, for example, a red wine pool, which when you sit down inside surrounds you with the fragrance of red wine. There is a sweet pine pool where you can close your eyes and it feels like you're in a sweet pine wood. And there is a pool of Tianma, which is a traditional Chinese herbal medicine of refreshing properties. And there are pools that feature traditional garden design aesthetics. And of course, there is that good old fish spa, where you can sit down and have a school of tiny fish gather around and peck away at your skin. It's so itchy and exciting, you literally don't want to get out of there. So the volcano hot spring tribe was our third day. We spent an entire day there, from light to dark, and the experience was purely magical. trip to Changbai Mountain has left us a lot of sweet memories to relish, but even more to expect for another trip at a different season of the year. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and one day I may take you back again for another trip in summer. Bye.